Okay, so the holidays as a single person haven't really bothered me that much. Like, yes, it's a little bit lonelier. There's like, you'll see a couple of engagements here and there, but these holidays have been absolutely crazy. When I tell you, literally probably like 20 couples that I know of have gotten engaged. Everyone in my broader circle, if they have been wanting to get engaged, even if they've been dating for years and years and years, this has been the year. And honestly, it's been one of the hardest things I've walked through. And the reason why is that so I'm coming out of like a year of singleness that I felt the Lord asking me to step into. And to be honest, like I thought towards the end of this year, I would step out of the year of singleness into a relationship. Let's backtrack. I am 23 years old, and by this time, I literally thought that I would be married. I was one of those girls, I was like, yeah, like 21. I am so okay with being married by then. Alas, I'm 23, I'm here, I'm single, and there's not a single prospect in sight.
I'm 27 years old. I've no money and no prospects. I'm already a burden to my parents. And I'm frightened.
And so this is the things that I really wish that someone like would have actually said to me, and this is the truth, and I'm speaking this not only to you but to myself. And this is something that the Lord is laying on my heart, and he is firing me, like making me really fired up about. Okay, and so yeah, this holiday season has just been like so hard to walk through, and I really wrestled with the Lord because I was like, God, really, like, are you kidding me? It's not like I'm not putting myself out there. Yes, I need to work on some things. Yes, I need to be a bit more approachable, but I am going to all the places. I am doing all the things, being all the places. In fact, you are showing me the most incredible men, and yet here I am still single. What is going on? And so really hard truth is just, I think, and these are all things that the Lord has been processing with me and like walking me through. But here's the thing, is that I think so many people, and I see so many videos on the internet about how, you know, like, just do this and you'll be in a relationship. Pray this prayer, you'll be in a relationship. This is for you and for your spouse, for your kingdom spouse. Keep believing, and all of these things. And in the comments, I see so many comments about heartbroken singles who have been promised certain things, and yet are standing in the unfulfillment of that promise. But here's the thing: God never promised you a spouse. God never promised you a relationship. God literally never promised you that. Nowhere does he promise that. Yes, family is so big to God, and that's how he, you know, like that's the system and order he's created. He talks all the time about wives and husbands in the Bible. But here's the thing: God never promised you that. And so why are you holding God to a promise that he never gave you? Because you're standing there in disappointment, you are getting bitter, and you are giving up on God when that is not what he promised you. That is not what he said. That is what man said. And so that is like a hard truth that I've had to learn, and is that truly, and I know so many people say this, so cliche, if you were to never ever be in a relationship, never get married, would you be still satisfied by God? And if that answer is no, if that made you immediately cringe, if that made you like, huh, that's a problem right there. And I think so, it just gets me so fired up, because then also different people, there are all these like lies that go around, like as soon as you're content, then the Lord is going to bring a relationship to you. You know, like, just be so content and pray and hope and trust in the Lord. But here's the thing, is that you cannot manipulate the Lord into giving you something that you want. You cannot manipulate him into giving you a relationship. And so important is that a relationship isn't a reward. It's not a reward, it's a blessing from the Lord. And so if he chooses to give you that blessing, that is so beautiful, but it will be in his time. It will be in his timing. It will be when he sees fit, when it is for his utmost glory and for your absolute best. And until that time, there is nothing that you can do to force it. There is literally, like, you can try, you can strive, you can get in the wrong relationships, you can hurt yourself, but there is nothing that you're going to do that's going to bring that closer. You can present your request to God, but until he sees fit, that's not going to happen. And so why are you holding God? I've got notes here because I'm very fired up about this. Why are you holding God to a promise that he didn't make? Yo. And I just want to encourage you and remind you, like, why are you so fixated on marriage? I think the biggest lesson, the biggest thing I want to just communicate is that, isn't it crazy that if a whole generation of, especially millennials, not so much Gen Z I'm seeing, but especially millennials, very early Gen Z, can be so fixed on the fact that they don't have a relationship, the fact that they are not in a relationship, and get distracted from the real work. Truth is that we need to wake up. There are people out there that need to hear the gospel. There are people out there that need what you have, and you are wasting it by just sitting around and feeling sorry for yourself. There are literally people in their 40s, 50s, 60s that have never been in a relationship, but yet the Lord wants to use you in your local church. The Lord wants to use the wisdom that you have gained in relationship with Him, maybe to start a Bible study, to go lead outreaches. There are people in their 30s and their 20s. The Lord wants you to give your life to literally telling people about Him, whether that is in the workplace or whether that is out on mission. And here you are sitting at home, literally just feeling so sorry for yourself. And I hear you. I am in the same boat. I get how hard and crushing and devastating it can be, because then there's the whole cycle of what is wrong with me that I am not chosen. And in those moments, the Lord always reminds me, but He's chosen me. And I'm like, but God, I want a man to choose me. And He's like, but I'm the man that chose you. And it literally is that. And so, and the Lord is not asking you to do that and suppress all your feelings. He's asking you to do that even while you are feeling what you're feeling. And so He's asking you, and help fund those missions even when you're feeling so down. Help start leading that Bible study even when you don't feel complete, whatever it is. He is asking you to step out in faith, because why are you so fixated on marriage and not the true kingdom? What is the reason of marriage? What is the true reason for it? Is that it is a reflection of the picture of Christ and His bride. Also, real talk, there's no marriage in heaven, just so you know. So yeah, there's literally no marriage in heaven, because marriage is a picture of the ultimate of Christ and the church. And in heaven, that is going to be fulfilled. You don't need a picture when you have the real person in front of you. And so why are you so fixated on it when the actual meaning about it is literally about Christ and His bride? Christ is on fire for you. He wants you. He wants you so, so much. And yet you're saying, actually, God, yeah, I kind of want you, but I want this more. And if that is where you find yourself today, that needs to change. And you need to go and you need to wrestle with Christ about that. Because marriage is not the goal. Tiffany Hogel really was big on this. She has a quote that says marriage isn't the goal, Jesus is. Jesus is the goal. Jesus is literally the whole picture of marriage, the gospel. And you are sitting there focusing on the wrong thing. You are sitting there distracted instead of doing the work that God has set before you. And I've really for myself learned this big time this past year, because we're in 2025. That's so crazy. There were so many spaces that the Lord called me to step into that, to be honest, I would have never chosen for myself, and I never would have thought, honestly, just thinking, that I would be in those spaces as a single gal. I thought I would only be in those spaces as a married person, in those spaces of leadership, as with someone beside me. And the Lord called me to step into those spaces in singleness, and it was so scary, but it was also so beautiful. And if only you knew what the Lord had before you. It's kind of you're settling and you're unfocused, and you are just settling for crumbs of, store-bought cinnamon rolls that are stale, and they're on the clearance, and they're so cheap and they're stale, when the Lord wants to give you when the Lord wants to give you this beautiful homestead with fresh cinnamon rolls. I literally baked fresh cinnamon rolls this morning and it was life-changing, with like the best fresh cinnamon rolls and breakfast spread that you are eating in community with him. There are people running around like in the field just full of joy, and yet you are settling for the store-bought stale stuff, when the Lord doesn't just want to give you a beautiful cinnamon roll. He wants to give you the whole spread, the whole farm, the whole homestead, whatever it is, and we are settling for crumbs. And even worse than that, we are so focused on the fact that we don't have, or rather you're like at the shops wanting the cinnamon roll, rather, let's say, and we're so focused on the fact that we don't have it, that we miss the invitation from the Lord to step into what he has for us. And I think, and you know, this is something where you have to like reframe your mind, because you've been told all your life that if you do this, you will get this. And that's how it works in the human world. But that's not how it works when it comes to singleness and relationships and marriage. And I want to encourage you, where is your hope? Have you lost hope? Or is your hope in that man? Is your hope in the church that they'll set you up? Is your hope in, in yourself, that you can do all these things to get to that place? Or is your hope in Jesus? Because how sad to finally get to that place that you've been looking forward to for years and years and years, only to realize that it's not going to fulfill you, because that's not its job. It's a really hard work. And yes, it's so beautiful, but it's not everything. It really is not everything. And how you feel now is how you're going to still feel in marriage. And so it is time to set your eyes off the like literal idol of marriage and set them on Jesus. And then rebuild your hope in Jesus. And then you need to go and sit with Jesus and be like, okay, Jesus, what do I need to do in this season to do your will? How can I be someone who is on fire for you in this season? And even when it comes to marriage, like, God, what do you want me to do in this season? Is there anything you want me to do in this season to prepare my heart for it? Or do I need to lay it down and surrender? Do I need to be in a hidden place? Do I need to or do I need to put myself out there? Do I need to start going on dates? What does that look like? And that is a conversation that you need to have with the Lord, because I think so often we go to these places wanting answers, wanting someone to say, do this, and you'll get this. And that's not how it works. And also the Lord is more interested in who you are and your heart and who you're becoming than satisfying a wish that you have, because you aren't being fulfilled in him. You want to be fulfilled in this wish. He's not going to do that. God is not going to give you something that is going to wreck you and destroy you. He's not going to give you something that is going to distract you from the kingdom. And another thing I was reminded of is just hopefully the final thing. It's just that you chose this. To be honest, you chose this. You can literally go out there and find a husband tonight. Like, there is no shortage of people who want to be married to someone. You can literally go out there, get in a relationship. You can literally you can go out there and do it. But you chose to do it God's way. You chose to follow Jesus. You chose to give your life to him. And so you chose this. And so you can't be going around mad at the whole world because you chose this. You chose to do it holy. You chose to be set apart. You chose to be an example to the world. You chose that, God, I am not settling for any less than your best. And so you chose it. And so step in that decision. Own it, truly. And I really, okay, there we go. Final thing. I want to end off with the fact that God is there. That he walks with you every step of the way. Sorry, my hands are so good. But he walks with you every step of the way. He's not asking you to do this alone. In fact, you know what's crazy is that the Bible is made up of ordinary people who had doubts, who had feelings, who didn't want to do certain things. Even Jesus felt those same human feelings, and yet they still continued, even in the midst of those feelings. And so God isn't asking you to just change how you feel, to lie about how you feel, to lie about the fact that you're disappointed that he didn't give you this thing. No, he's saying, come to me with those emotions. Come to me with the disappointment, with the hurt, with all of it. Let yourself process it with Jesus, and then continue in action, even with those feelings. Because, friend, there is a world out there that needs you to stop looking at yourself and that needs you to look at them. There is a world out there that needs to encounter Jesus. And that's not going to happen with you sitting there feeling sorry for yourself. Dang, okay. Yeah, that's so hectic. Yeah, and I don't, if you know me, I'm not like a harsh truth all the time kind of person. In fact, I hate confrontation and hate harsh truth. But I really just feel like the world needs to hear this. Even if it's just one person, like, get up. The Lord has more for you. And I'm not saying that marriage is less. I'm just saying that there is so much urgency. And we are a distracted bride. We are distracted looking at ourselves and our problems instead of the work that God needs us to do. And I'm speaking to myself just as I'm speaking to you. And so I really hope that the Lord spoke to you through this. And my biggest, your biggest takeaway should be that you need to go to spend time with the Lord. See what He is saying, how He wants you to step forward in this. And then you need to do it. And you just need to stop holding the Lord to something that He never promised, and take your hope off yourself, take your hope off your future man. If there is one that the Lord has for you, take your hope off the world and put it in Jesus and live like it. And so, yeah, I'm not saying don't lose hope. I'm not saying suppress your feelings. I'm just saying do it with Jesus. He loves you so, so much. He burns for you. Literally. His eyes are like fires of flame. And so, yeah. Okay, friend, I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you in the next video. Bye.